It's House, BestRevenueWriter.com. And today I'm here to tell you how you can follow up without being annoying. In terms of following up, here's some of the rules that you must know about this. So one of the big things, you should never apologize for trying to help somebody. That's what your role is. That's the mindset you need to go into it with. I would assume that if you're working with a company and you're working for them, that you didn't pick them because they're a lousy organization. If they have clients, clearly some people are finding the value in that. So you know that whatever your product or service is, whether you started the company or you're working on behalf of a company, that there is value to offer. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's not about you, it's about the other person on the receiving end. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is a pretty busy era. You're not going to reach somebody the first time. The chances of that happening are very slim, especially if they've never heard from you before. They're not familiar with you. So if you reach out to them and then you never do it again, how serious could you have been about talking to your prospect about something that might be able to help them or their business? It's in your best interest and theirs, so that they don't miss it, to follow up. How many emails do you get that you look over, never even open? Probably quite a bit, but if you see the same name popping up over and over again, you're going to be curious to see what this person has to tell you. You have to stay top of mind and don't allow them to miss your message, especially if it's good and you have a great product that can help them. The other thing you want to do is you want to set a cadence timer or a cadence sequence. There's many ways to do this. Some people have it to where it's super aggressive up front, and then as time goes on and they get unanswered emails and calls, they let it trail off a little bit. Some people do the exact opposite. They start off slow, and then as time goes on, they start becoming more aggressive. That means the time in between your touch points. So let's say, for example, I send somebody a cold email, give them a cold call later that day, I message them on LinkedIn, what's next? Well, then you're going to have a sequence. You're going to have to plan out your day. So you're going to have a certain amount of time that you're going to let elapse before you reach out to that person again. For me personally, what I like to do is I like to space it out with a sequence, a number. So 0, 1, 3, 5, 5, 3, 1, 1, 0. And that would be the amount of days in between your next touch point. That's one of the sequences that I use. Sometimes I'll mix it up, just depending on how I've curated my prospect list. Do what works for you best, but I find that having a set number helps you systematize your approach more, helps you stay more organized, and then it's something that you can lean back and adjust if it's not working, whether that's you need to be more aggressive or you need to pull back a bit. The other thing is you want to make sure, as mentioned in a previous video, that you have something of value to share with them. So that's going to be on you. That's going to be the responsibility that you need to take in order to be well informed. Whatever their industry is, find something useful for them. It doesn't have to be all about your product or your company, or even yourself for that matter. Find something that's useful for them, an insight. People like to have advantages when it comes to information. There's a lot of information these days, of course, but to curate it and have it in one spot to where it's convenient to reference, well, now you're starting to get into the areas where you're becoming a value contributor. Another way to look at this is you can look at it like a blogger that curates content for a story, for instance. But the only difference is you're doing this for your sales message.